So we have returned. Ascension eSports Elder League. Backdoored Your Mom takes on Interns United. I am your caster, Decerux, followed by my co-caster. It was once Desden, now being brought in is Wumbo. Desden, halftime caster now. How you doing, Wumbo?
Doing alright. Had a pretty good cast with Harkin back doing the Renegades versus Interns United, so saw how they were doing in the first series. Some ups
United,
and downs. They tied it up 1-1. Some questionable things from Hip Optimus, but I'm hopeful to see him bring it back around at this time in this series, new series, new players. Hopefully, can be able to be a little bit different.
Yeah, we just got done casting Backdoored Your Mom versus the first place team, Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies. An unfortunate 0-2 for Backdoored Your Mom. Put on a pretty good fight, but the Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies having very immaculate macro play.
Yeah, we saw some pretty good rotations coming out from Interns United. They were able to actually get all three outer turrets down before the Renegades were even able to get one turret down. They weren't even really working with that large of an advantage. It was just almost a pure out rotation.
So we will be seeing these two teams meet. Last we heard, Interns United were the second place team. Most likely still the second place team.
Yeah, they did have 1-1, so curious to see how that's going to go.
Meanwhile, Backdoored Your Mom, depending on how the Chocobos did, should still be third place as well.
Yeah, seeing so far, I think it was just 1-1 on a lot of fronts. Like you said, a 2-0, so I think it won't shake up the standings too much before the playoffs.
Yeah, and really this game is crucial for both teams because that second place means you get a bye coming into playoffs, which could really just give you time to relax for a week, really, and be able to scout out the teams you're supposed to be playing against in the coming weeks after.
Yeah, I think in this Elo, though, it's a little bit less about scouting out enemy teams, more about playing your own style, and we'll see what those styles are as we go into this first game of the series.
Really a band right off the bat.
Yeah, I find it to be a little bit of an interesting one, perhaps a target band. Not so sure about that.
Hesitation is death.
Aatrox band, I believe. Are they working with all their bands? I don't think so, right?
No, they are not. They do have, I believe, 2 E-subs in Leroy Jenkins and Godfist Yasuo.
Okay, so nothing too major. Ezreal band, which I find to be a little bit confusing, just considering that's not really what you would consider to be like a heavy pick. Riven band on the side.
Commonly targeted towards Blastona, who is now known as Feeder.
I recommend
Seems to be jungling for this game, though.
Oh, Blastona changed his name to Feeder?
Yeah.
Oh, hell, no wonder. I was
We
like,
do
this
what
guy's
we
playing
must.
Pretty well. Yeah, he played Riven jungle. I was like, oh, it's pretty...
That seems
He
all
did pretty well
targeted
with it.
towards Feeder right there.
Yeah, he just played in the last game, did pretty well on it.
So now we're going to figure out what will be picked up by Backdoored Your Mom.
Now I see why Renegades kept banning that Zillion. They did first. Now Interns United first picked the Zillion. Curious if that's gonna go. I'm not sure if that actually goes mid or if that goes support. I would throw it towards mid lane perhaps, but definitely good to have flex picks first time around. That still leaves some of those hot supports out right now. Karma, Nami, perhaps a jungle pickup. Like Graves, definitely a big one to be had.
I wouldn't be too surprised to see the Elise picked up by Godfist Yasuo. They are going to hover a top laner at the moment. Could flex for support. Teemo is hovered, possibly going to be a placeholder.
Be surprised. This is going to go over the Karma like I was talking about earlier. It was available. Nautilus, a little bit out of the favor because nerfs recently to his mana regen, and I believe the damage on his E, but still a viable pick. Just not as strong as he used to be, as is with a lot of these picks they've been coming in. Kha'Zix, another one of those high tier jungle picks.
Ooh, and there's a lot of pick potential starting to stack up on the side of Interns United.
Yeah, definitely, especially as you can get in and out, having that time winder on you from the Zillion. But similar could be said about the team comp that Backdoored Your Mom has so far. I mean, Vayne really good at making picks with the Condemns. Karma has the Chains and Nautilus, similarly with the hooks.
And
A Janna and a Nautilus. I haven't seen the Janna in quite some time, or Vayne for that matter.
Yeah, very interesting comp being drafted by Backdoor Your Mom.
Yeah, I like that they're kind of just sticking to their own guns just a little bit, not really worrying too much about having response picks. I mean, Ashe does have a favorable matchup into the Vayne, but it doesn't look like Quantum Landing was too concerned about that.
Here's the part I'm most interested in. What HMTKD is going to pick. Last season, we saw him pick Scion support. It was one of the most hilarious things we've ever seen. That every time the dinner bell rang, something big happened on the map. Hovering Nami right now, so of course he's going to crush my dreams.
Yeah, he did pick Nami these last 2 games, I believe. Had a pretty strong showing on it, good tsunamis and also pretty good bubbles. But really, it's up to that mid lane. Corrin has had his fair showing on oof.
Let me have it.
And I know he can't have heard it because there's a caster delay of 30 seconds and there's still 5 on the clock. Okay, so it is going to be Rumble top.
Way to break my heart, HMTKD.
Honestly, that would have been such a great pick. Now that they've got the Nami and the Rumble locked in, this doesn't leave very many avenues outside of an Ashe Arrow for Engage on the side of Interns United, which is a little bit worrisome because that's kind of a difficult comp to play. I mean, we see even at the highest levels of competitive play, teams struggle to make it work.
I think one of the biggest things for Interns United is their lack of a front line. Nautilus is one of the best damage-soaking tanks, especially put Courage the Colossus and his natural shield with that. It's very hard to chunk through a Nautilus once he starts to scale into the late game. And that could make it very difficult for the comp that has been drafted by Interns United.
Yeah, moreover, once you consider the slight semi single target damage that comes in from Zillion with the bombs, Kha'Zix is extremely single target damage, as is Ashe. Rumble not so much, but if he's able to tie up the Rumble and the backline is far away enough where they're not going to take damage from a Flame Spitter or the Equalizer, then most of that damage is going to be going to that Nautilus. It's not really what you want. You want to be hitting that backline, especially when they're squishy as a Janna. Oh, I'm disappointed to see. Man, I thought should have been a Nunu.
I thought that was going to be the Raise the Puppy comp right there, trying to get Quantum Lightning as big as possible on that Vayne Janna shield.
Vayne Janna shield.
Nunu Blood Boil, all of that.
Should have just did a Jarvan top lane for good measure. Just give them all the attack speed. Bastion wouldn't have been too bad, considering what they had there. I mean, Nunu Jarvan. Ultis on ultis. Lock him in there with a Nunu.
It does seem like the Yasuo. Seems like the Nunu was, according to the chat, a placeholder for Yasuo? If that is true, that'd be very, very interesting.
Yeah, I'm really curious. Let's see how this plays out here as we run right through this champ select once more.
Understood.
Now I'm angry.
Learn from your mistakes.
Okay, so instead of an Alistair ban, was that a replacement ban?
No, they're just burning through the bans.
Oh yeah, okay. So they know they know it's gonna be played.
We do what we must.
So they're just gonna go ahead and ban that out. Yeah, I'm really curious with that. Not sure how they could fit a Yasuo in there.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. Oh my goodness, he is not.
Please tell me no. This is like, I'm not even in the game and this is about to kill me.
Oh my goodness. That is a Yasuo jungle coming out of God Fist Yasuo. What in the world is going on?
Oh my goodness. I mean, he does have the novelty name, so I mean, why not? But into a Kha'Zix seems pretty dangerous. I can't see it working though. I mean, the Janna has her own knockups as well as the Nautilus with the depth charge.
And
Please
there we
pick
go, HMTKD teasing me again, destroying my hopes and dreams, making them memes.
And it's such a great pick with the lack of frontline that they have and the lack of engage. I mean, that would just be a beautiful pick for a Scion support. Oh, it's so sad though. I mean, into a Janna it wouldn't really do much. I mean, you might be able to outpoke a little bit onto the Janna with the E's and some Ashe of volleys, but I don't really see that happening. So Nami it is. Fairly standard bot lane matchup on the side of Interns United, but kind of a classic one that you don't really see anywhere. It's like more of a Season 3 bot lane on the side of Backdoored Your Mom with Quantum Lightning on the Vayne, and Leroy Jenkins is a Janna.
So, Interns United versus Backdoored Your Mom. Let's get into the players. On the Rumble top lane, we see Hip Optimus Prime. Meanwhile, in the jungle, Feeder on Kha'Zix, Corrin the Cat in the mid lane on Zillion, Come On Shoot Faster, ADC with Ashe, and HMTKD on Nami.
On the other side of the rift, Backdoored Your Mom, Rizbro on Nautilus, Godfist, Yasuo, appropriately on Yasuo, Re-Crisis on Karma, Quantum Lightning on Vayne, and Leroy Jenkins on Janna. And I'm actually really hyped to see Re-Crisis on this Karma mid lane. Haven't seen Karma mid lane in quite some time. Definitely one of my favorite picks. Just kind of blast them continually with Qs, and I just like the way that it scales a lot more, especially once you get you know, the when you start getting those monster Qs, and they start hurting quite a bit. But definitely this Yasuo pick in the jungle is the highlight. It's probably gonna, I mean, they have the comp built around it, so it looks like if they were, it doesn't look like it's a surprise pick, at least for his teammates. I mean, the Janna works well into it, provides him some peel and additional knockups, as does the Nautilus. So I'm definitely, I'm not trashing it just yet, but it is definitely going to be skeptical.
Yeah, I mean, if there's interesting things they could pull off. One of the most difficult would be a Monsoon Last Breath. If God
I could see it. I could see it doing it. Yeah,
that would
definitely
be pretty
doing it.
Yeah.
Just flash in Monsoon. Why not?
So currently, this is a battle to try and get that second place seed going into playoffs. This is week 4 of Elder League. And we do have one more week coming up, but that it only has one set of games for us. For those of you just joining us, this is Ascension eSports Elder League. This is an LCS-style tournament with a regular season and playoffs for players in gold through plat. If you're interested in joining Ascension eSports, we have divisions for all elos, including Dragon for bronze through silver and Phoenix for diamond and above, as well as an in-house rank ladder. So please, check out the links down below, check out our Discord, check out our subreddit, and we hope to see you here soon. So yeah, what an interesting game we had ahead of us. Jungle Yasuo coming out of Backdoored Your Mom. What more can you say about that? You can't analyze it, you just have to watch it. Meanwhile, on the side of Interns United, no frontline whatsoever, but a lot of skirmish coming out of them. They do have the ability to engage, and engage very strongly, both with the Equalizer coming out of Rumble, the Double Bomb coming out of Corrin the Cat Zillion, and of course the Enchanted Crystal Arrow out of the Ashe.
Yeah, Enchanted Crystal Arrow is probably going to be the main form of engage, considering that there isn't any other thing they could use. I mean, I guess a Zillion Bomb would be good. I mean, there is the evident synergy between Zillion and Braum, as you know, when you get the Bard, or Zillion and Bard rather, where you get the Bard ulti and then Zillion places down two bombs, and then it's like an instant stun after they get out. So I feel like a Bard might have been an easier, better pick for that rather than a Nami. You know, there's same sustain. There's still a little bit of CC that you can get from the stuns on the Q. But Nami still gonna work nonetheless to chain some of those bombs together. So Godfist Yasuo is going to go with Fervor of Battle. Not really too surprising there. I can't really imagine what else you could go with, but definitely curious how this top lane matchup is gonna go. I would put it towards the favor of Hip Optimus Prime. You know, getting those flame spitters out and out sustaining Risbro on that Nautilus. But once he starts to get, Spectre's Cowl and build up some more defensive stats to combat the damage from Hip Optimus Prime, then I would put it towards the favor of Risbro.
So we are getting into game now. Interns United versus Backdoored Your Mom. Please let us know in chat who you think is going to win this game. But for now, we do see pretty standard spreads coming out from both teams. No aggressive invades, which always makes me sad.
Yeah, I haven't seen Corn the Cat's Zillion yet. And that was banned both games last time, even preferring to ban that over Red Flames Nasus, which had very, very strong showings in both games. So it's obviously a notorious pick for him. Curious to see what that holds.
We'll find out soon enough. But more importantly, Yasuo. Just Yasuo.
Yep, fairly standard fan out both teams starting on their blue side. Find it a little bit interesting that Feeder, formerly known as Blastone, is going to start on that side rather than his red side, as it's an easier leash. But I think he's going to go for an invade onto the red buff of Yasuo. It's kind of easy, actually. You can't really mess up Yasuo's name, considering his name's just Yasuo, and he's playing Yasuo as well.
Yeah, I mean, in both games earlier, he hovered it, but never locked it in. It would just be a quick hover. He went to the Godfist Lee Sin, then he went to Elise, and now he's finally taken it. I wonder what prompted them into taking this pick.
I mean, I think it's just seeing the lack of hard CC and engage that they have. I mean, Yasuo works really well to that, considering that it's CC, which kind of thwarts a lot of what Yasuo does, bouncing around, staying mobile, and just a pain in the ass in team fights. But there isn't many tools to do that on the side of Interns United, so I think it's a pretty smart pick. I mean, putting it in the jungle, maybe not so much, but if he's comfortable on it and knows the matchup and how to farm well and gank, then by all means.
Yeah, I mean, you never really count out a one-trick, and one of the most infamous one-tricks there is Annie-bot, who will play Annie in almost any lane.
It's a little bit of a different story. I feel like Annie actually does work in any lane. I used to do Annie jungle back in the day before they changed their E. That's kind of what enabled that Annie jungle was the E that used to do pretty much what Thornmail does. But unfortunately, Feeder did not go for the early invade against him. I find it to be a little bit interesting, considering I would imagine that early game Kha'Zix would beat out early game Yasuo. I mean, it's a little bit different. Normally, you have junglers that prioritize the one side for a particular reason, but I think he just wanted to start blue buff for... I can't imagine why. It's not really much different from...
But I kind of see a reason right now. There was an invade that came out from Risbro looking to ward up that blue buff, and he's not on that side.
Yeah, and from that ward, the information that they're able to extrapolate is that the Gromp is missing, which means that Kha'Zix would be on his bot side jungle, since he's just farmed his top side. Godfist Yasuo is not going to be able to get anything off this, I don't imagine, because the push isn't priority of Risbro.
Yeah, so far, wave manager coming out of Hip Optimus Prime, pretty clean. Not putting himself in any danger. Risbro really shoving his head. And it's kind of natural, especially with the skills that Nautilus does have. The Riptide.
Yeah, and it actually puts him in a pretty good spot, considering that Kha'Zix did path down towards that bot side at the end of his jungle clear. So you don't really want to put yourself in a too shoved up position to be ganked. So talk about the bot lane matchup just a little bit. I mean, Ashe is, it's normally known that Kate is a really good counter towards Vayne, just because of the... Oh wait, never mind. Dredgeline connects on Hip Optimus. Here comes Godfist.
He caught out a little bit here. Godfist Yasuo really not doing too much damage. Not being that impressive on that champion just yet.
Yeah, but Hip Optimus Prime seemed to be pretty scared of it. It had burned a pretty preemptive flash. Surprised about that one, honestly.
Better safe than sorry, I suppose.
Oh, just barely misses that harpoon. That was close. And now we're seeing the shove power of Ashe versus Vayne, the no wave clear versus wave clear with the volleys. Hopefully Quantum Lightning knows how to CS well under tower, because that's what he's probably going to be doing a lot for the remainder of this laning phase.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of pressure, and it just comes to this lane matchup. The Ashe Nami can be very oppressive, especially when you're playing something that is so weak early and needs to hyperscale.
Oh, something going on in the jungle. I believe Feeder was trying to go for an aggressive invade. I think he's stolen on the Wolves, it seems. Yeah, he has 3 additional CS over Godfist Yasuo, so 3 CS, 3 neutral monsters in that Wolf camp. I did the math. Adds up. And with this bot lane pressure, what Feeder can do that is translated into a dragon. But what Godfist Yasuo can do is translate it into a gank. See, he's coming down here.
Yeah, about that translating part. I mean, if a gank is considered walking up and windwalling, then so be it. But
Maybe lost in translation.
Now we see him going for an actual gank.
Double
It's a double knockup, forces the flash out. Come on, shoot faster, getting extremely low. Has to burn the heal, but they did burn the flash of HMTKD as well.
Yeah, Godfist, Yasuo, Leroy Jenkins, Tornado Buddies both land their Qs to get the double knockup.
Ooh.
That was a pretty good trade from Quantum Lightning.
Yeah,
How
that's
much to be returned?
Changed up the lane completely.
It's still pretty equal in CS. Both ADCs went for a Doran's Blade. I would have imagined that Quantum Lightning would want to go for Longsword 3 pots, considering that he is in a little bit of a losing matchup and he would be subject to a lot of pokes, so those 3 pots would help him sustain against that. And it is an Ocean Drake first. Not really too impactful, you know, some comps favor that a little bit more than others. Doesn't really look like either comp is going to be having an advantageous time picking up that.
Yeah, I mean, more specifically, poke comps tend to love Ocean Drake.
Yeah, or if you're playing against the poke comp, you know, it helps to heal up after said poke.
So it does work both
ward.
ways.
A good ward. Not sure whose ward that at, but it is on the red side Raptor camp. Spot down on C whenever Feeder might want to try to go for a counter jungle. That's pretty dangerous. I mean, you really want to keep this Yasuo afloat and even. If he gets behind, then he's kind of useless. Well, that ward just barely went out. Ooh, a good check. Isn't able to dodge out on it.
Choosing to go in on this anyway. He's really low health now. Flash forward coming out of Godfist Yasuo. Doesn't get the knockup on the Feeder. Feeder managing to live just for now. Both sides getting really low on their junglers.
That was some pretty good coordination off on the side of Interns United. A good equalizer, almost finished off Yasuo, but just not quite enough.
That could have been a disaster for Feeder. He used the stealth as he got knocked up. That would have been an instant last breath.
That was really close. I mean, you can call it what you want, but watch you faster. Shooting pretty quickly onto Quantum Lightning and Leroy Jenkins, both of them having to back off that. So definitely good to have jungle pressure. A slight, I believe it's about a camp lead for Feeder, but he's pretty low. It's going to be forced to back, so it should be able to tie up after Godfist Yasuo finishes this last clear. In the mid lane, though, I haven't really talked about it much, but Corn the Cat flexing his muscles quite a bit with a total of a 20 CS lead over Re-Crisis. That's pretty stark. It's going for a Rod of Ages rather than a Merlinomicon.
Oh, we might see a teleport. Ward has been pinged that is behind Come On Shoot Faster in HMTKD.
It was a really intelligent play. Yeah, that gank. You talked about it being slightly weak. It didn't really amount to much besides the Summoner's Burn, but was able to...
That's a double teleport. They're sending 2 people to this bot lane. Here comes Rizbro, and this is disaster for Interns United. First blood picked up by Rizbro, as well as second blood.
Oh my god, that is such a good capitalization from Backdoored Jerome. They were able to get the ward in there after the gank, and then they used it to their advantage. This could potentially be a first tower. They have 4 here. They have all the agency, they have all the power they need. They're going to go on to Feeder, though.
Yeah, they are onto Feeder. Feeder getting knocked up, having to flash away, trying to run away from this. He
One
has
more,
two stacks
two
on
more.
him, and there are 2 more coming after.
Corn the Cat wants to say something about it. Comes down, try to do something, but I don't really think there is much he can do. The wave is there, but I believe that was the last minion to fall. Godfrey's Yasuo is going to pick up the Scuttle Crab, it seems, just based off looking on my minimap. And here comes the wave, so they're
Shouldn't
not
be
all
first tower.
piling onto it. Really curious why they're not prioritizing first tower over the Ocean Drake.
I don't think they were
That-
going to be able to get that first tower regardless.
I think they could. Yeah, I think actually, yeah, I would have to agree with you there. They don't really have the resources, the ultimates. They just burned all of them in that initial TP gang. So not many tools to pressure them off the tower. But speaking of pressure on towers, Hip Optimus Prime gets that one very, very low.
Yeah, taking
As there's-
advantage of that teleport burns. And that's going to be 650 gold in his pocket. All to him, all the spoils.
Yeah, that might even be a finish haunting guys for him. Almost, not quite. The Feeder looks like he's posturing for a gank on the Re-Crisis. Corn the Cat does have his ulti in case he wants to make a potentially risky dive. Don't believe Feeder has his ult though.
Is the second bomb going to land? It does! Re-Crisis running dangerously low, and tick goes the bomb. Feeder kills him before that, though.
Yeah, good chip damage going to go onto that tower, but nothing much more going to come of it. Right, already we're seeing pretty good capitalization. Try to bring themselves back into this from Interns United. It's a slight deficit that they're working from. Actually, they have the tower lead. I was looking at the kill score. Kills are not everything, as the 2,000 gold lead rests within Interns United right now.
Not this Yasuo. Playing with fire and loving it. Loving every single second of it. Really.
Yeah, having a fun time bouncing around. Haven't seen too much come out of him just yet. I mean, as Yasuo is known to be, takes a little bit to get rolling. Let's see. Second Drake is going to be another Ocean Drake. So lots more sustain. I mean, there is a fair amount of poke within Karma and Zillion, so I would give this, those Ocean Drakes mean a little bit more than normal. Also, just the passive healing and sustain, scaling off missing mana and health just helps so much, especially in siege situations.
And
Really
Quantum
not much
Lightning
more.
Showing off those Vayne mechanics a bit, punishing HMTKD, but he is a healing champion, so not going to affect him too much.
Yeah, especially with the Janna being there, the shield will give Quantum Lightning the liberty to play as dangerously as that. But you know, if he gets an ulti in the face, it might be a little bit more dangerous for sway him, dissuade him rather from playing that far up. But they are working without a tower, so if there is a gank to be had down here, it would be pretty good. Godfrey's Yasuo pathing down, but I believe this gets spot out by the ward that HM just placed. So again, nothing really more to be had.
Yeah, just a lot of stalemates coming out. But the tower lead is 2-0 currently. Overall, macro game going in favor of Interns United.
Yeah, and Corn the Cat actually has a pretty good CS lead over Re-Crisis. I believe it's about 30, so it's mounted to about a 500 gold lead, which is pretty big when you consider that it's pretty much an amp tome in a pot. So Interns United balling going to move up towards that mid lane, seeing as they shoved up the bot lane adequately, so really nothing more to be gained down there. Jungle is clear, so this is only the next step.
There
Oof,
goes the
unfortunately.
enchantment. Nothing from it.
Yeah, a little bit preemptive. Perhaps should have waited for a little bit more vision to be had, but I believe this turret is going to go down anyway. There isn't any response. I mean, it's a Karma and a Janna going to try to stop this tower. But it actually works. I mean, Mantra Q does lots of damage.
It does have cooldown though, and we're about to see the second siege onto this tower, playing a bit of A round. But Quantum Lightning as well as Rizbro in the solo lanes currently. A lot of damage comes out. Leroy Jenkins a little bit too deep. A lot of damage going off from every single member. The double bomb lands on Corin, and that's 2 kills picked up. Make it 3, and what a great play to come out of Interns United.
That was just such a great double bomb from Corin the Cat. I can already tell why this has been banned continually against him. What a strong play, really knowing his limits and a confidence. You know, double skill shot champion, but he's like, you know, I got this, and he does it.
Ooh, that was a little bit spooky.
I think Feeder was just messing with him. I think he knew he could get out of that one. So we resume scheduled broadcasting of laning. At this time, all outer turrets fallen for Backdoored Your Mom. Not a really pretty situation for them to be in. They are working with quite a bit of scaling. This is not the way that they want this to go if they're going to get to that late game fantasy in a Yasuo and a Vayne.
Yeah, honestly, it's already uphill as it is, so it's only getting more difficult for them. But as long as they can stop the bleeding and just cause this to stall out, they can show up really big when it gets to this late game.
Yeah, there has to be something said about this Yasuo jungle, though. Normally we could see like a jungler like a Kha'Zix that was on the side. I mean, they did have the opportunity to pick that first, or even pick it second round, but not gonna happen.
I mean, there has to be something to be said. What can you say?
I just feel like
no words.
It's less optimal. They're playing with so much scaling right now. That's kind of why I don't even favor like things like Wukong jungle or Sejuani jungle, just because it's such a weak early game. You just kind of get out pressured, but you have to farm up to your strength before you can do anything. You just kind of leave your team hanging, really.
Look at the guy's name. What else do you want from him? He's basically a Yasuo one-trick double bomb. Lands on the Godfist Yasuo, and he goes down once again. He is 0-2-0 in this game so far. Not effective whatsoever.
Yeah, has the Blood Razor. Hopefully, there's going to be some scaling to come through, but Rizbro puts the Death Charge onto Hippoptimus, but doesn't connect the anchor toss.
Oh, actually, they're going to turn this around. Quantum Lightning almost picks up Hippoptimus, but flashing over the wall to save his life.
Yeah, funnily enough, both kills, 75% of the, or 66% of the kills are resting within Rizbro, and he does actually have 100% kill participation. Yeah, I mean, drafting such a large scaling comp for yourself just kind of seems like you're shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah, at least for the early game. You see those zoning bombs coming off, that's going to be another tower picked up. Not just yet, there is quite a bit of health, and a nice clear coming out from a Crisis.
Yeah, there's just so little that they can do.
Look, here comes the teleport coming out. You see Rizbro using a teleport double bomb, it's 4 people! What in tarnation! And now Rizbro's by himself! Rizbro taking a lot of damage, double bomb on the Rizbro, last breath hits 2 members! HMTKD able to flash away, Peter, Maiko down, has to flash away as well. Hippoptimus in the middle of 3 members, so far still alive, pretty healthy, trying to turn this around, trying to take out the Godfist Yasuo, and he does get it, but here comes another bomb, double bomb make it onto Rizbro, and now come on, shoot faster, trying to shoot the fastest he can onto Recrisis, picks him off, another double bomb! Goodness gracious, I see why this is banned out for him.
Yeah, I think Peter's gonna be able to pick this up. Come on, shoot faster. Actually flashed over to get onto Leroy Jenkins. Here comes the tidal wave to come down, and that is going to be the ace. Extended ace. Vayne.
Extended ace.
Actually died within that. Hard to believe that this is only 18 minutes in. It's gonna be the 4th tower fallen for Backdoored Your Mom. No backdooring here, just straight front doors and rolling. Them being rolled over.
Yeah, Interns United looking great so far, and what's not looking great, that Yasuo jungle 0-3-1 only has an assist, and you just, I wanted to believe in it. I wanted to believe this was actually going to be something big. This was huge pocket big. He's a Yasuo one trick. He's going to pull this off. But
I mean,
no,
he could have played Lee Sin too. I mean, he's got the Godfist in there, but I mean, you'd imagine that it
was
just
banned.
Be kind of
it
like,
was banned.
Oh yeah, Lee Sin was banned. Very true. I mean, you'd imagine that the Yasuo would be sort of like a scaling pick, so it would be farming the jungle very, very heavily, but does not seem to be the case. There's only like a 10 CS lead for Feeder over Godfist Yasuo, and Feeder's been having a fair amount of gank time happening, so I mean, he's been able to balance farming and ganking fairly well.
Yeah, when it comes to that pick, I have to say Yasa no.
Oh gosh.
As terrible of a pick as my pun.
Yeah, honestly, I can't think of another way to describe it. That's pretty succinct, and it's not really much you can do to try to farm up against an enemy jungler when your laners need to take that jungle CS as well. So, difficult situation for the Yasuo. I mean, it's a low economy in the jungle. Maybe all your items are that expensive. Maybe he's just sitting on a Blood Razor.
And the more confusing part is Godface Yasuo, he played Elise last game. He looked great on it. He got so many solo kills, 1v1 kills. Then he goes to this.
Here comes Feeder.
And yeah, Feeder looking to get into Godface Yasuo. He's in the middle of 4 people, though. He has to run away from this one. But boy, did he send a message to him.
Yeah, the message said that I can just kill you in 3 auto attacks and 2 Qs. That was the message, and I think Yasuo heard it pretty clearly. He's backing up now, and this poke is about to be really heavy.
Yeah, and Corrin the Cat has been exceptional with these bombs so far. And you have to be scared of Corrin the Cat. This is something that most likely, when they come into game 2, they really do want to ban this out.
Yeah, without a doubt, definitely going to be banned. It's really taking control over this game and allowed them to take as many turrets as they have with the zoning, the team fight prowess that he's got on it with landing all those double bombs.
Oh,
Just whiffs right
and now
through.
we see Enchanted Crystal Arrow going off. The fight might be on. Will he land a double bomb? Does not, which means it is disengaged for now.
Disengage indeed. He actually went for Rod of Ages and Merlinamicon, so he'll be throwing out those bombs for days.
And we have a bit of an ARAM. There's a split push coming out of Hip Optimus Prime, putting that pressure up there. And we are going to see a forced engage. Depth charge is used on the Feeder. Feeder using the stealth. HMTKD is caught out by himself, but the chrono shift is used on him. A bomb is huge. Is it going to be enough to actually take them out? Here comes Hip Optimus Prime, and he's getting so much damage off. The equalizer was brilliant. That is 2 picked up. We're going to see 3. And overall, great team fight from Interns United.
Yeah, so at first I was just thinking that without that engage, Interns United are kind of in a bad spot since they aren't going to be the ones picking that fight, but the counter engage came through, and they were in Corrin the Cat consistently once more for like the 4th time is able to land a multi-man double bomb. A huge stun that laid the foundation for an immense equalizer from Him Optimus, and that's going to be an inhibitor tower, perhaps an inhibitor.
Yeah, I
Just look at the zoning power. Almost a fully stacked Rod of Ages. He is so massive right now.
I gotta be honest, it's so hard to play-by-play this when Corrin the Cat's bombs just leave you speechless. He does so many great combos, and he does them repeatedly in team fights.
Yeah, that's what's killing me the most. Is that it's not even just like one lucky 4-man stun. It's he does it. It's like the 3rd time, and then now it's going to be an Infernal Drake, and his bombs are going to be doing even more damage.
Oh, and here comes Last Breath on the 3 members, but instantly starts running out of there. Come on, shoot faster, getting melted a little bit. Now Hip Optimus Prime gets hit by the Depth Charge, is going to fall, but the Chrono Shift does save him for now. Come on, shoot faster, gets pulled by the Dredge Light, but a double bomb again! What the hell? Corrin the Cat, stop doing this! You're not supposed to be this good in Elder League! Triple kill picked up by Feeder.
You get this dude in Syria? Like, we need this dude against ISIS. What is he doing? Get out of these games, bro. I mean, he's just like lobbing all these bombs. Lob City for Corrin the Cat right now, just throwing them all down consistently.
Oh,
This is just... I can't even right now. He's so huge on this. He's snowballing his team so hard. This has to be banned. This makes so much sense to me. I didn't know it was this bad, but it's bad, and he is. It's good bad. Like, he is so good on this champion.
yeah, the Michael Jackson type bad.
Yeah, that is astounding. The accuracy, just it's so good too, because the setup is he picks the fights in the jungle, and it's already a huge choke point. That was the 2nd time in that same choke point that they was able to get that multi-man bomb.
Yeah, he just looks great on this champion. Please ban it out next game. Backdoored your mom.
Yeah, they absolutely need to, and maybe even ban the Yasuo so that their own team can't pick it. I mean, that's my favorite strategy whenever I see anyone hovering Yasuo.
Whenever I see anyone hovering on Yasuo, my strategy is usually dodge the game.
You just ban it out and force them on the Actually, yeah, you probably should just dodge it because, I mean, I doubt they get it banned out, so they're just gonna play another champion that they have marginally less experience on and still feed their asses off. So, really, who wins? Answer's the enemy team, but that's not your team, so don't want to be having that.
Yeah. Peter getting a little bit of a boost. And we are going to see a team fight break out here. Peter's a little bit caught, but does damage right back. Here comes what could be the last breath, but he doesn't have vision. And now they're trading back and forth and gets hit in the face by a Chanted Crystal Arrow. Immediately melted, almost gets Come On Shoot Faster, but Korin the Cat is there. How do you think you're going to pick that up with Come On Shoot Faster, Korin the Cat? But now Peter's the one caught out. There is no Chrono Shift to save him this time.
Oh, that feels so bad. He was literally in the middle of his leap and then got condemned against that wall. Just very slight, right on the corner, and then gets picked off. And I was just about to talk about how when Interns United aren't really dealing with the front lane, it makes it that much harder for them to try to take Baron. You know, normally when you have a frontliner, you can take it with like the ADC in the frontliner and the jungler, but they're actually going to need all 5 members to take Baron, and another double bomb.
No, not again. You can't keep repeating this, and he does
a second one in a row.
Double bomb, double kill picked up by Korin the Cat, and he has backdoored your mom pretty much by the balls at this point.
An astounding performance for Korin the Cat on Zillion. I've never seen anything like in a long time. I haven't seen someone just have such a dominating performance.
Yeah, he looks in a completely different league right now.
Yeah, this is honestly like having casted the last series of Interns United, a completely different team. Like they are a completely different team with this Zillion pick in the hands of Korin. I mean, it's almost like team fight breaking out.
Yeah, we see Last Breath using the Come On Shoot Faster. He does have the Chrono Shift on him, so he is going to survive for now, but the Chrono Shift expires, and we see 2 kills picked up in the way of Backdoored Your Mom. They only lose 1 so far, but Peter trying to change that, manages to pick up a double kill. Now another double bomb goes off. Korin the Cat making these routine. Will Peter die to the depth charge? He does, and now another double bomb. No, he does not get it this time. Korin the Cat has to run out of this. He does not have the Chrono Shift, so he does need to disengage for this. But HMTKT flashes into the dredge line, able to survive for now because look at the minions in the base. They have to go take care of that.
Yeah, at this point, it's almost surprising that Korin the Cat wasn't able to get that double bomb. But it is going to be a 2-for-3 trade in favor of Interns United.
Korin the Cat, please stop. Yeah.
It's interesting that he hasn't built something. I mean, going Morel and Omicron Rod of Ages is honestly really weak. I mean, you either do one or the other. I've never really seen a mid laner do both, so it's kind of stunting his damage just a little bit.
I want to see what he's going to build right now. He has a good chunk of gold on him. Does
he went for a Void Staff. Yeah, that's a smart buy. Just talking about how stunted his damage was, so he's like, hey, why not? And I mean, really, there isn't a lot of magic of this. I mean, it's really only the Spirit Visage that's resting on Risborough. So kind of surprised to see that. Not something like a Leandri's Torment, which could you imagine that? Like if he's able to land all those stuns, the multi-man stuns, into 2 bomb explosions with Leandri's Torment for the 8% burn, that's massive. And here we're going to see him start up the Baron. This is so hard for Backdoored Your Mom to contest when they have the super minions, but they have slight pressure. Risborough standing on the other side waiting.
Yeah, they are
Yasuo as well.
They are in there.
They get stolen.
Yeah, it hasn't been stolen just yet. Last Breath is used, but it does nothing. That's 1 member down. Is it going to be 2? No, he flashes over the wall, but the equalizer is great. What a great equalizer. What a bomb! Stop it, Korin! Stop it, please! I can't take this anymore. That is an ace, and that is going to be the game. That's
ridiculous. He's just a tier above his opponents on this champion. It's love. It's like he's Aurelian's soul, honestly. Like, just has to be continually perma-banned. I mean, you might as well be working with 2 bans when you're playing against Korin the Cat.
Oh.
And that's definitely going to be the game. 29 minutes, 30 seconds. Korin the Cat, what are you doing?
Yeah, Korin the Cat, easily the MVP of this game. Double bombs for days.
Triples, doubles, triple doubles. going Lob City.
Yeah, and what an intense display coming out from Corrin the Cat overall. Just it's obvious to see why this is banned from him now. He's a monster at this.
Yeah, honestly, today was a good day for Corrin the Cat. Woke up, picked Zillion, decided he was going to land a triple double bomb, and wins the game for his team. I mean, this is just, it's incomprehensible. And of course, it had the most damage dealt, and then following behind him was Hip Optimus. Was able to follow pretty well with those equalizers, even without those double bombs. It's really great equalizers behind him. And then on the other side, there's really not much to be said. I mean, they picked scaling into that kind of comp. It's really no surprise that they got the runaround.
Yeah, no kidding. But at the end of the day, like, no matter what the comp that Interns United took or that Backdoored Your Mom took, I can't see them beating out Corrin Zillion.
Yeah, that was massive. Corrin the Cat obviously working with that $52 billion defense budget buff. Tons of bombs being thrown out. That was definitely a sight to behold. Are going to get into the second game, and absolutely that is going to be banned against them.
Yeah, it's going to be banned. If you don't ban it, especially after seeing that clinic that we just saw. What in the world? Oh man. There's no words for this. There's no words for what we just witnessed. Corrin the Cat banned this Zillion. Every team to play against him, please. There's a reason for it. But on that note, we will be taking a short break as we get set for Game 2 of Interns United versus Backdoored Your Mom. We will see you soon.